intermission on Hockey Night in Canada. The Saturday headlines with Elliotte, Friedman, and Elliotte. We're inside 2 weeks to the trade deadline, and you're going to run us through at least 6 of the teams and what they may be up to.
Just stuff that we're hearing and things that are going on out there. So we'll start off in Pittsburgh. After they lost to LA last week in the great Yager retirement ceremony night, I think things really started to intensify around the Penguins. And obviously the big name is Jake Guentzel. Everybody really interested in him. I think some of the teams have expressed interest include the likes of Vegas, Vancouver, Edmonton, Carolina, Florida, and I have no doubt that there are more. But I believe this has also gone beyond Guentzel. I believe there's other players in the Pittsburgh organization that have begun to get attention. Obviously, none of the big guys are not doing that. But one position I do think that people have started to ask about and the Penguins will consider is goal. They've got Jari and Nedeljkovic at the NHL level. They've got a really good prospect in Joel Blomqvist, who's having a good year in the American Hockey League. And a couple of teams have suggested to me that you might want to add to the list of goalies who could be moved, someone in Pittsburgh.
You might go to the Edmonton Graphic there, Brian, but before you do, because Steve Staios and Dave Poulin are watching, is Karlsson going to Ottawa? Because there's been talk of that. And...
No, that's just me spitballing. Let's not get too crazy about that one at this point in time. Edmonton, you know, they've talked a lot about targets bigger and smaller, but I think one of the things that the Oilers are doing is looking at some forward depth, not necessarily on the top line, but throughout their lineup. And I think they have some interest in 2 players from Anaheim, Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick. Now, I don't know if that's both or just one of the 2, but both of those names are names that are being linked to the Oilers. In Philadelphia, Jeff Merrick is going to report in his notes tomorrow, and I'm stealing it tonight, that there are teams that have contacted the Flyers about both Nick Seeler and Sean Walker as a pair. They've been very good together this year. The Flyers are weighing whether or not to sign them or trade them, but I believe at least 2 teams, according to Jeff, have asked about acquiring them as a pair. The Maple Leafs, people are always wondering about the Maple Leafs, whether you like them or don't. The Toronto continues to go looking for a right-hand shot defenseman. That has been their look for most of the season, and that continues. Dallas, I had a few people say to me that people should be talking more about the Stars, that behind the scenes they are quietly one of the more aggressive teams. They definitely think they can win the Stanley Cup. They are looking for defense, and they are looking for depth. And finally, Vancouver, and probably should mention Vancouver and Boston playing each other tonight, but the Canucks, look, like Jim Rutherford's been at this a long time. They think they can win. There's a lot of things he could try to do. But one of the things I think that has developed over the last couple of weeks in Vancouver is the amount of noise around Pettersson. And I think what that has led to is teams calling the Canucks and saying, what exactly is going on here and could he be available? Now, the Canucks do not want to comment on this. They feel the noise is already enough, but they are telling teams we are trying to sign him, and that is our goal.
Lastly, Elliotte, Joseph Woll, close?
Yes, he played last night for the Toronto Marlies in Laval, and he was very good. 36 of 37 saves. And not only that, but Laval did not make his night very easy. For a player in his first game after a high ankle sprain, Laval made it tough on him. They knew everybody would be watching, and those players sure did their best to get noticed. And he was very good. They didn't play him today, but he's very close, and we'll see what Toronto does in goal. They've got a couple days to figure this out. They go with 3, do they go with 2? But Woll is close.
Elliotte, Friedman, the Saturday headlines. Elliotte will be at the helm, really. David Amber, Carolyn Cameron will attempt to control the show, but Hockey Central straight coverage you see there, March the 8th. So the following day, we turn the clocks ahead. The hour of decision and in an hour of daylight coming up.